are Java objects stored in memory? In Java, all objects are dynamically allocated on heap. This is a difference from C++ where objects can be allocated memory either on stack or on heap. In C++, when we allocate the object using new, the object is allocated on heap, otherwise on stack if it is not global or static. In Java, when we only declare a variable of class type, only a reference is created. That means memory is not allocated for that object. To allocate memory to the object, we must use new, so that the object is always allocated memory on heap. If you see the example here I have created a class test. I have written a method show. I am creating a variable for this class test t, and I am trying to call the method show using t.show. Here it will throw the error because t is not initialized. We have to initialize t using a new keyword like test t equal to new test. So now when you call t.show, it doesn't throw any error. Can we override private methods in Java? Let's understand a simple example of overriding. Here I am created a base class and with a method test. I have created a derived class that extends this base class. Now I am overriding the test method in this derived class. So in main method, base object equal to new derived. It means the base class reference object refers to the derived class object. So when test method is called by using this object, the call is made according to the type of referred object, not according to the reference. Now change this public as private in both base and as well as derived. Now if you see, we'll get the compiler error. Test has private access in base. So the compiler tries to call the base class function, not derived class. Means test method is not overridden. An inner class can access private members of its outer class. What if we extend an inner class and create test in the inner class? An inner classes can access private members of its outer class. So for example, I am creating a class outer. Inside that I have a private variable and as well as private method test. I am creating an inner class inside the outer class that extends the outer, and I am creating a test method inside the inner class. So in order to create instance of inner class, we need an outer class instance. So first create the outer class instance and then inner class instance. This will call the inner's test method. The purpose of this call is to show the private members of the outer class that can be accessed in this inner class. So when I call here o.test calls the outer's test method. So if you observe here, it is clear that method test has not been overridden. It is because private methods are bonded during compile time, and it is the type of the reference variable, not the type of the object that it refers to, that determines what method to be called. What is object cloning in Java? Object cloning means to create an exact copy of the original object. If a class needs to support cloning, it must implement java.lang.clonable interface and override clone method from object class. If you see the syntax of clone method, protected object clone throws clone not supported exception. If the object's class doesn't implement clonable interface, then it throws an exception, clone not supported exception. If you see the example here, I have created a test class that implements clonable. I am creating a parameterized constructor that accepts two parameters that are initialized these instance variables. Now I am creating a cloning method which internally calls super.clone method. And I am writing it in try-catch block. If there is any exception, it gets catched in exception block. So if you see the main method here, I have created a test object that is new test 1, 2. Here the variables a equal to 1 and b equal to 2. Now this object 1 I am cloning. So the test object 2 equal to object 1 dot cloning. So it is cloning the object 1. So it is creating the same copy from that object. So now object 2's a variable is 1 and b variable equal to 2. Now I am changing the object 1 values. Object 1a 3 and object 1b value is 4. So when I try to print object 1a and object 1b and as well as object 2a and object 2b variables. If you see the output here, we have cloned the object 1. So when I change the values of object 1, it is not reflected to the object 2. How to find max memory, free memory and total memory in Java? Although Java provides automatic garbage collection, sometimes you will want to know how large the object heap is and how much of it is left. This information can be used to check the efficiency of the code and to check approximately how many more objects of the certain type can be instantiated. To obtain these values, we use total memory and free memory methods. As we know, Java's garbage collector runs periodically to recycle unused objects. We can call garbage collector on demand by calling the GC method. A good thing is try to call GC and then call free memory. Now let's understand the methods. First one is void GC. Calling this method suggests that the Java virtual machine expand effort toward recycling unused objects. In order to make the memory they are currently occupied available for quick reuse. When control returns from the method call, the virtual machine has made its best effort to recycle all discarded objects. Next one is long free memory. This method returns the amount of free memory in the Java virtual machine. Calling the GC method may result in increase the value returned by free memory. Long total memory. This method returns the total amount of memory in the Java virtual machine. This value returned by this method may vary over time depending on the host environment. What is JCA in Java? The term JCA stands for Java Cryptography Architecture. Sun Microsystems introduced it to implement security functions for Java platform. JCA provides a platform and gives architecture and APIs for encryption and decryption of the data. Many developers use JCA to combine their applications with security measure. A Java programmer uses JCA to fulfill security measures. JCA also helps in performing the security rules of the third party. It uses the hash tables, encryption message digest, etc. to implement the security functions. What is the difference between jar and var files in Java? Jar file stands for Java Archive File that allow us to combine many files into a single file, whereas var stands for Web Application Archive Files that store XML, Java classes, and Java server pages, etc. for web application purposes. Java files hold Java classes in library, whereas var files store the files in a lib directory of the web application. All the enterprise Java Bean classes and EJB deployment descriptors present in the EJB module are packed and stored in the jar file with .jar extension. whereas var file contains the web modules such as servlet classes, GIFs, HTML files, JSP files, etc. with .var extension. What is RMI? RMI in Java stands for Remote Method Invocation. RMI is an API in Java that allows an object residing in one system or JVM to access or invoke an object running in other system. RMI is used to create distributed applications in Java. It provides remote communication between Java programs using two objects, stub and skeleton. It is present in package java.rmi.